Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Builds by Bailey. Today we're going to finish up the rear taillight assembly and we're going to reinstall the rear hoop onto the motorcycle. The first thing that I've done is I've taken the hoop and I've ground down all the surfaces on it, so all the places where I'm going to weld doesn't have any more of that brass from the filler rod from raising it. So I've got it prepped and ready to make the place that I'm actually going to mount the brake light to. A lot of people, you'll see, they'll mount it inside of it. The style that I bought, I just got a cheap one off of Amazon. So the style I got won't fit inside. So I'm going to make a little bracket that goes above it. It's going to fill in the space between the hoop and the seat. So the seat's going to sit down about there, and then the light's going to fit in between it, and so it's just going to be smooth up the back of it. So I've got a piece of cardstock just from something that was in the mail, so it's fairly rigid and it's about the length that I need. So I'm going to take that and make a template out of it to match the hoop on, so I can transfer that over to a piece of steel and cut that out and weld it into place. So now that I have test fitted my little template that I made out of paper, I've actually fitted the brake light up in there too to make sure that it clears on all of its edges. Now that I've fit that in there, I can take my template out, I can transfer that over to the steel, cut that out, and then bend it into shape. And then I'll tack it into place and make sure everything lines up where it should, and then trim anything that I need to see clearance. So next step will be transferring that to the metal. Only because I'm lazy and I don't feel like going to find a Sharpie somewhere, I'm just going to go ahead and I tape the piece down to the metal, and I'm going to outline it with some spray paint. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just an outline. I waited a couple of minutes and let it dry, and I pulled the thing off. So now you can see kind of the template, the guidelines that you need to go off of. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out real quick, and then we'll start bending that into shape so it'll fit on top of that hoop. So I've taken and cut out the piece that I'm going to use that the brake light's actually going to attach to. So this piece I'm now going to start forming it to fit the hoop, and then we'll tack it in place, and if everything looks good we'll leave it there and weld it on up, and then we'll spray it with a nice coat of black, and then we'll start plumbing the wires for the brake light. Okay, now that I have the piece of metal bent that I'm going to put in behind it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tape it to the bar a little bit better, and then I'm going to go ahead and tack it in place, put it back up on there and see how it fits again, and then probably go through there and weld it together. And I'm going to do it from the inside out because we're going to put that light right on the bottom, so you're not going to see it, but I want it to be flush. I don't want that light to actually be sitting on something, so that way I don't have to clean up on the front side. So we'll just tack weld it on the inside, put it up in place. If it looks good, we'll tack it in place down here, and then take the seat off of it and weld it all up. I now have the piece of metal welded onto the hoop. So now that I have it kind of stuck in place here, I'm going to quickly tack on the sides there to put the hoop in place. And then I'm going to take the seat off of it and then weld it all up. Now that it's all welded up, we'll go ahead and we'll put the seat back on and we'll see how that brake light fits. The brake light fits on there quite nice. We'll cover all of this up with black paint so you won't be able to see any of the welds or anything. We're also going to touch up those couple of dents that are in it too with a little bit of putty. But that'll clean up real nice. We'll put the brake light on there. It's got some double-sided sticky tape on the back. Put that on there. If that doesn't hold, then we'll run some zip ties around it to hold it in place. But that looks like that'll work out quite nice. That's going to do it for this episode of Builds by Bailey. In the next one, we'll go ahead and we'll have that brake light all wired up and we'll start making the mount for the license plate that's going to go down on the axle on the back end of it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.